Alright, today we're going to talk about the quadratic formula. And we've been completing the square, we've been solving, that was not right, that's supposed to be just a plain old U. Okay. Alright, we've been factoring, setting equal to 0 and finding the pieces. We've been completing the square. Now we're going to do we also been taking the square to both sides when we solve quadratic equations. Completing the square will always work, and so will the quadratic formula. Completing the square has lots of steps that you do over and over and over. And so I showed you a little bit ago in your textbook how we could take a formula like this, actually like that, without this part, set it equal to 0, and we will complete the square on this and come up with the this thing right here. I'll show you. Come up with this big thing right here. Come up with a quadratic formula. And so what we do is take this out here. Anytime we have a formula in the quadratic, we look at the number in front of the x squared, and it's an a, so we plug it in to these a values right here. We look at the number in front of the x by itself, and we plug it into the b's in the formula. Okay? And we see the number all by itself over there, and we plug it into that c value, then we just use our order of operations to simplify that.
Oh, okay.
All right? So I have for you written down on a sticky note this formula so that you can keep it with you all the time. Eventually you'll learn you'll have it memorized after a little while. So let's do some problems. I've written it up here for us so that we can have it up there to know how to plug it in. So the first thing I want you to do is tell me what a equals.
Like where I'm plugging it in.
Mm-hmm. What is the value? What am I going to plug in for the value of a over here?
You're going to plug in an 11.
Let's look back here. A is the number in front of x squared.
Oh.
Okay. So what's
So
A?
6.
Good job. What about b?
Then that's going to be 11.
Could be really careful because it's going to be negative 11. So you got to take both of them. Okay. And then the c value
is negative 2.
Negative 2. Okay. All right. That's really important so we know what a, b, and c are. I'm going to actually scoot these now a little smaller and up. Okay. We're going to plug everything in here. X equals negative b. B is already negative 11. So a negative negative is just going to be a positive 11. Okay?
Okay.
Plus or minus b squared. I suggest that whenever you're going to do that, you square this in your head and stick it in.
Okay.
So what is 11 times 11? If you can't do it in your head, you need a calculator. That's fine.
So 121, right?
Very good. 121. And it doesn't matter about the negative or positive in this case, because a negative times a negative is going to be a positive. So it's going to be a minus. 4 is just there, part of the formula. It's always there. A is 6. Write it all out. And C is negative 2. Are you with me so far?
Mm-hmm.
We're right here in this denominator now. 2 is just always there, part of the formula. And A is the 6. Okay?
Okay, so now we just solve.
Now we just simplify this. So we come in here and we do our x equals. I keep my 11 plus or minus, and at this point, if you don't know how to do this, or it's too many big numbers, you just get your calculator out. You type in 121 minus 4 times 6 times negative 2, or you can do it in your head. But get one solid number to put right there. Okay?
So it'll be 17 times 6 times negative 2.
Careful. This gets to multiply first.
Okay.
So that's 24 times negative 2.
Is negative 48.
And so then we have a negative, and a negative makes positive 48. So we're going to have, in that square root, we're going to have 121 plus 48.
So that will be 169.
Very good. So when you're, the next step, I would suggest that you have just one number in there. So just find out what that is all together in your head or in a calculator, whichever you decide, okay? You know what? let's do this. I have too much stuff here. We're squeezing some of this to get room. All right. Then all over the bottom, which is, figure that out. What is 2 times 6?
The 12.
12. Now we have 11 plus or minus. Is 169 a perfect square root, or is it going to have, we're going to have to do our little factor. Let's just see. Let's see if it is a perfect square root first.
Oh, yeah, 13.
It's a perfect square root of 13, okay? Over 12. Now this is where we start. We're going to get 2 answers. The quadratic formula, that's what the plus and minus is going to do. It's going to give us 2 answers. X equals, first we're going to take 11 plus 13.
That's 24.
Okay, divided by 12.
Is 2.
2. Okay, now we're going to take 11 minus 13.
That's 2.
Divided by the 12.
Is negative 6, right?
We'll have 2 divided by 12.
Oh, never mind.
Actually, negative 2 also.
Negative 2 is negative 0.16 repeating.
We're going to leave it as a fraction. So what is, when I reduce that fraction, what do you get?
Negative 1 over 6.
Yes. All right. Negative 1 over 6.
Okay.
Okay, so we just take our 11 minus, add 13, we got, and then divide by the 12. Then we do the 11 minus the 13, got a negative 2 divided by 12 is a fraction. So here are our 2 answers.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right? Let's do another one.
Right.
All right, so we're going to keep the quadratic formula kind of on our little sticky note near us so that we have room. So that we can remember it. And I'm going to leave some, I was talking about room in my head, so I'm going to give us some more room. Okay, what's A?
Is 5.
Okay, what's because of that, right? What's B?
7. Negative 7.
Negative 7, good job.
And C is 1.
Is 1.
So then you'll have X.
So then we have X equals negative B. B is already negative 7.
So it'll be
Positive 7. Okay. Plus or minus square root.
And then
B squared.
Is going to be negative 7 squared, so that'd be 49.
Good. So just put the 49 in there.
Minus
4 times the A.
Which is 5. Times 1.
C, which is 1. Okay, all over. 2 times A.
Which is 5, so that'll be 10.
Good. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze this down because it's kind of big here.
Okay, so then...
Alright, so now we're going to have 7 plus or minus. This time under the square root.
We'll multiply, so it'll be negative 20.
Yes, yeah, this becomes negative 20. We'll have 49 minus 20.
So that'll be 29.
29.
Over 10.
Over 10. Is this a perfect square root?
No.
No. When we do a factor tree, what factors go into 29?
29 and 1.
29 and 1, it's prime, right?
Yeah.
So it's prime. This is prime, or it can't have it. If it's not a perfect square root, we're done.
Oh,
Right.
I like those.
Now, sometimes it's going to be, we might get something like this. 6 plus or minus square root 12 over 3 or something. No, it can't be 3. Let's do 10 because it had to be multiple of 2. So this 12, let's just pretend we got this when we were there, okay? This 12 we can do a factors of 6 and 2 and 2 and 3, right?
Right.
So we can take out a 2 and leave a 3 inside, right?
Right.
So we'll have 6 plus or minus 2 square root 3 over 10. All right? Now, we can start canceling some stuff. But really careful when you do that. There we go.
Okay.
We have to be able to take something out of the 6, the 2, and the 10 to reduce all this.
So that would be 2.
I can take a 2 out of all those. So if I take a 2 out of the 6, I'll have a 3. Take a 2 out of the 2 square root 2, I'll just have...
a square root 2.
Right.
And then you'll have 5.
5. Okay, so to be able to take something out, I have to take it out of all 3.
Okay.
Not the square root, because it's underneath. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so we were done here because the 29 can't be factored.
Right.
We had a perfect square root on this one, so we got a perfect 13, so we can take the things out.
Okay.
All right. We're done with the quadratic formula. You just need to remember this.
Yeah.
Keep it with you when you're doing your homework. Sometimes when I was doing my homework, instead of me having a sticky note all the time, I just wrote that at the top of my paper.
Oh,
Okay. And it got me practice every time I did that assignment. I would rewrite that formula, and it got it in my mind
Right.
too.